Hello, this is Bishop Manigault. Welcome to Bishop's Corner. Thank you for taking the time to stop by and share with me today. I want to talk to you today about salt and light. The church is called to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. These truths were taught by Jesus to his disciples in what is widely known as the Sermon on the Mount, or the Beatitudes. In this message, Jesus sets forth the kind of people we ought to be as representatives of the kingdom of heaven. In his message, he speaks to our thoughts and our attitudes, as well as our actions and our behavior. I like to call it the Beatitude attitude. It is in having the Beatitude attitude that enables us to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth. As the salt, Christians are used by God to combat the rottenness and the wickedness that sin has brought into the world. As the salt of the earth, we are called upon by God to retain our unique relationship with him in the midst of a world who doesn't even know he exists. Our presence here should be a force for God and for good. Salt's ability to permeate all that it is applied to and its ability to preserve all that it is applied to are the very traits that the church ought to have. So that being the case, I want to encourage you today to please pass the salt. It is time to get the salt out of the shaker and into the world. The church is the salt of the earth. Not only are Christians the salt of the earth, we are also called by Jesus to be the light of the world. In fact, Jesus declares that we are not just a light, but we are the light, or the light of the world. In John 8:12, Jesus speaks these words: I am the light of the world. He that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. In other words, those that follow him have the light that comes from him. And in doing so, just as he is the light of the world, those that follow him become the light of the world. The church is the light of the world. Now, if you think about light for a minute, it is a force that makes life possible. There would not be any life as we know it on earth without light. The light of this manna comes from the sun, the sun, and without the heat and the light of the sun, there would be no life at all. The light that Jesus is speaking of, however, does not come from the sun, it comes from the son. And without the light from the son, we are left in spiritual darkness and death. So just as our bodies require the light from the sun in order to live in this world, our souls require the light from the son in order to live in his world. The church is the light of the world. And if we follow him, if we continue to let our light shine before men, not only will we have the light of life, but that light will then be able to be given to others so that they too may come to know and see and love him as well. One final thing, remember this light that we have is not our own light. It's our light to bear and it is our light to share, but it is a light that ultimately comes from the Lord. It is a reflected light, as it were. Sort of as the moon reflects the light of the sun, believers of the church in particular ought to reflect the light of the son. We must bear the light and we must keep the light, but above all things, we must share the light. The light is the truth that comes to us through the word of the Lord and the Spirit of the Lord dwelling with us. We are the light of the world. And that's why the Bible tells us in Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. My brothers and sisters, please pass the salt. And while you're at it, please let your light shine for all to see. The church is the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Well, my time is up, but I do thank you for yours. And until next time, may God bless you and may heaven smile upon you. Keep you is my prayer. Amen. Bye-bye.